Our first session of the day, I am so excited about. Your session host is the Director of Admissions with the Delaware College of Art and Design, and he just is fantastic, and I know is so passionate about what he does in his great college. So I'm excited to introduce our first session host of day 2, Randall Reed. Please welcome to Delaware Days, and please feel free to take it away and introduce us to DCAD.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Randall, and I am the Director of Admissions here at the Delaware College of Art and Design. I'm also a DCAD alum, and I graduated from their photography program, where I transferred to Pratt to complete my bachelor's. And I have worked in a variety of different places, from Paper Magazine to doing my own wedding photography business. My specialty is in portrait photography, and it all started here in little old Delaware. DCAD values dedication, creativity, accomplishment, and diversity. We offer a 2-year Associate of Fine Arts degree in animation, illustration, graphic design, fine art, or photography. Now, I know some of you may be like, where's game design? Well, if you're interested in that career, you would start in animation with us. As an art and design college, you'll have intensive studio work that's supported by rigorous academic courses. You'll receive a firm foundation of art and design. And when you graduate, you'll leave with a portfolio that you can use to either apply to complete your bachelor's or jumpstart your career. DCAD looks to educate, empower, challenge emerging artists and designers just like you. We engage and inspire in an inclusive and diverse creative community. DCAD is located in the heart of the Creative District in downtown Wilmington. So if you find yourself at the corner of 6th and Market, you'll see our gallery on the first floor. All of the floors above that are our academic classrooms and our studios. What I love about the location of Wilmington is we're right in the middle of all these other cultural hotspots. A couple hours away from New York City or DC, a train ride away from Philly or Baltimore. But we also love all of the galleries that are in our backyard. So we really are centered around museums, galleries, lots of places to experience art and culture. This is Liana Bacani, graduated in 2019. She transferred to Moore, which is in Philadelphia, where she received a 5-figure scholarship to transfer. When I visited DCAD, I instantly felt comfortable, immediately at ease, and the artwork I saw inspired me as well. When you're looking for a college to attend, it's important for you to think about 3 major things. Are there students that look like me, students that act like me, and does the artwork inspire me? If any of those boxes are checked, you should really consider applying to DCAD because that way you'll find your tribe, the people that you belong with. As an art and design school, you essentially have 2 different kinds of classes. You have studio classes and liberal arts classes. A typical studio class is about 4 hours long. You'll start with a critique at the beginning, then you'll have an in-class demo assignment, and then a critique at the end. This really allows you to absorb yourself in the skills that you're trying to learn that day. It might sound like a lot right now, but as soon as you're in the classroom, that time is going to fly by. The gallery on the first floor, the Tony and Stuart B. Young Gallery, will be an opportunity for you to exhibit your work. This is important because these exhibitions will go on your CV, which is the artist version of a resume. You'll have at least 3 exhibitions at the college. You'll have a show both your first and second year, and then when you graduate, you'll have your own exhibition just for graduation. All right, student life. So we say that life is sweet at DCAD because we offer apartment-style housing. It's not the typical cinder block shoebox that you might see at other larger institutions. Each unit will have its own bedroom, bathroom, and living room that you'll convert into your studio space. We offer 3 different housing types: singles, where you live by yourself; doubles, you live with 1 other person; or triples, where you live with 2 other people. We have a dining hall located on our first floor. There's no starving artists at DCAD. Our meal plan covers every meal that the college offers. So that's breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Monday through Friday, and then brunch and dinner on the weekends. We say that DCAD is small, smart, and spirited. First up, We're small. We have a close-knit, diverse, and inclusive creative community of just under 200 students. What does that mean? That means that you're going to get to know your peers, and then our educators are going to get to know you. Our faculty are professional artists and designers. This is important when you're learning graphic design or you're learning painting. You want to make sure that whatever you're learning is from industry professionals. Our student-teacher ratio is 10-1. So that means that you're going to get that quality one-on-one attention to help you develop your craft. Smart. So DCAD is accredited by NASAD in middle states. What does accredited mean? It means that our credits or our classes are held to the highest standard. Now keep in mind, not every school is accredited. And for DCAD, this is important because our students transfer. Because we're accredited, those credits have the value. It can go with you anywhere. More of our students graduate on time. Our average is about 86% versus the national average of 52% at a typical four-year school. DCAD costs less than other art and design colleges. On average, we're about $13,000 less a semester. So with our lower cost, plus graduating on time, and your ability to transfer, you're making a great investment in your future and truly graduating with less debt. Spirited. So you'll have opportunities to curate your own exhibitions, initiate clubs, really immerse yourself in art and culture in and around Wilmington. The clubs that we currently have on campus, we have a Gay Straight Alliance, a Black Student Union, we have a yoga club, an anime club, a horror film club, and many more. Because we're a two-year school, those clubs are constantly evolving and changing. So when you attend, there may be a whole new offering for you. We do have some awesome college traditions. This week is our Spirit Week. And no, it's not wear your pajamas to school day or wacky hair day. We're talking about pumpkin carving. We're talking about a spookeasy. This Friday, we have a costume contest. I feel like Halloween is the time for artists to really shine and flex their creative muscles, and DCAD loves to celebrate that. We also have support services on campus to help you outside of the classroom. So we're talking if you have a 504 plan or an IEP, we have a preferred name policy, gender neutral housing, we have a counseling center, and we allow emotional support animals. So if you have a cat at home that brings you joy, just register them and you can bring them on campus with you. I chose DCAD because of the small, close-knit environment. Also, the opportunity for networking through internships was important to me. Here we have Josh Hollingsworth. When he was a student at DCAD, he was an intern at the Delaware Contemporary, which is located on the riverfront. And now he's a full-time education specialist there. So he really took that internship and ran with it. All right, your first year, regardless of what major you are, you will have a firm foundation in art and design. You'll take classes like 2D design, 3D design, 4D design, as well as color theory. This is important because this helps you start building out your artistic tool belt so that when you're planning your next design, you're figuring out the color of the typography versus the background to make sure that it really pops. Or maybe you're composing your next editorial photograph. You're gonna think about what you learned in 2D about composition. Is my composition static or dynamic? So the tools that you learn at the very beginning are gonna follow you throughout the rest of your career. Now, I'm sure some of you are a little scared of the academics part. DCAD does not offer any math or science classes. That's kind of baked into the art making experience. So 70% is in the studio, 30% is in academics. Our academics, which are Writing and Lit and Art History, are designed to help you start talking about your work, which is probably one of the hardest things to do as an artist. Of course, you'll get an interdisciplinary and multicultural understanding of art and literature, but we really want you to start being able to look at art, analyze art, be able to talk about it. That's how you really succeed out in the world. Meeting you wherever you are. The first major I'm going to talk about is animation. So animation is designed for people that want to make things move. Our program will teach you the fundamentals of animation, both 2D animation, 3D animation, as well as storyboarding and game art. This will provide you with all the essential tools to start making things happen. Henry Thurlow, class of 2004, graduated from DCAD and transferred to Pratt. And then after he graduated, he moved to Japan to start working in the anime industry. Now, you can imagine as an American in a Japanese-dominated career field, how that may be difficult. But he's managed to build his own studio and has worked for many other celebrated studios. He's worked on projects such as a music video for Kesha, Naruto, Super Jail. To see more examples of what he's working on now, his Instagram handle is below at Henry Thurlow Animator. Next, fine arts. So fine arts is like the foundation year, but on steroids. So your typical drawing class will then be 6 hours long instead of 4. And you'll really work on translating the world from 3 dimensions onto paper, but also on your perception of the world and how you see things, your voice and vision as a studio artist. You'll take classes such as printmaking, painting, sculpture, and of course, drawing. Kayla McGrath, class of 2016, is now a full-time painter and jewelry designer based out of Alaska. She found her market and now has an awesome practice out of her studio. To see more examples of her work, she's at Lady of Long Lake. All right, graphic design. Graphic design is one of our more competitive majors because it's designed to help groom you for the graphic design world. It's a very fast-paced, high-demand job. There's a pretty strong focus on typography, so that's the way that letters sit on the page. And that's in order for you to start telling a story, selling a product, gaining interest from someone that may not have known about something before. Will Ramirez, class of 2014, was a designer at Milk, where he worked on projects for Netflix. And now he's the head designer at LaPlaca Cohen. So just a couple years out of college, he's now really kicking butt out there. To see examples of his work, his Instagram handle is willramirez.us. All right, illustration. Illustration is like if graphic design and fine art had a baby. You're gonna learn all of the traditional mediums that are involved. So we're talking watercolor, acrylic, oil, but then you're also going to be working in the digital arena as well. So that's Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign. This is gonna help you really flesh out that artistic tool belt so that when you have a client, you're prepared to deliver whatever they're asking for, whether it be a children's book, a graphic novel, a logo. Mike Hinson, class of 2011, graduated from DCAD and transferred to Pratt. He's a Brooklyn-based artist now. He just had a career change. So he was an illustrator at BuzzFeed, but now he is a marketing manager over at TikTok. And he still finds time to come back to Wilmington to exhibit his work. To see more examples of that, I would urge you to follow him on Instagram at Hinson Mike. Last, we have photography. Our photography program will help you develop that visual dialogue through photography so that you won't have a need for an Instagram filter. You'll work both traditionally and digitally, as well as in black and white and in color. Now, the practice that you're learning in our photography class is not just dedicated to fine arts. You'll also get a strong studio component of that. So if you wanted to be a photojournalist, an editorial photographer, or a fashion photographer, you're gonna learn how to use all of that professional equipment to be successful. Leah Beach, class of 2011, graduated from DCAD, and that was it. She's worked on tons of photojournalism projects, including the Global Dementia Project, as well as the UN AIDS campaign. What I love about her work is that she's using her camera as a way to lift the voices of some communities that most people don't know about. To see what she's up to, check her out at Something Different Art. All right, seniors, it's time to get your act together. The first thing is experience DCAD. So beyond just this presentation, I urge you to follow us on Instagram at DCAD.edu, check out our website, attend a DCAD discussion or a DCAD live experience. We do require a portfolio for admission. We're looking for 10 to 15 pieces of your best work. It can be in any medium or in any style and does not have to relate to the major that you're interested in. We do recommend drawing from direct observation, but that is not required. We will also need an official copy of your high school transcripts. So you would have your high school counselor email that directly to us. The first deadline to keep in mind is December 1st. If you apply and have completed your FAFSA by December 1st, we will have your decision and financial aid package ready for you by January 1st. The other deadline to keep in mind is March 15th, and that's our deadline for merit-based scholarship. What is merit-based scholarship? Merit-based scholarship is free money that DCAD is investing in you to apply directly to your tuition. That we use your portfolio and your transcripts and your application to decide. So by applying by March 15th, you've been automatically applied for our merit-based scholarship program. October 1st is when the FAFSA opened, so that's the free application for federal student aid. Our school code is below, but I'm sure you could just type our name in and you'll find us. Be sure to include that so that once you're accepted, we can start working on your financial aid package. DCAD has been in the business of transferring students for over 20 years. So we have what's called articulation agreements. And what that means is that other colleges have taken a look at our curriculum and have decided that the first 2 years at DCAD are the same as the first 2 years at their institution. So along the way, you're saving tons of money by starting with us and then transferring to that next school. Our grads work in a variety of different fields. Just because we offer 5 majors doesn't mean that those majors are the only careers that you can apply for. If you were interested in becoming a tattoo artist, you would start as an illustrator. Maybe you want to work for Facebook or develop your own apps. Well, you'd start as a graphic designer. Maybe you want to do game art, you'll start in animation. If there's one thing that you can take from your experience at the conference today, all of the businesses, other institutions that you're looking for, they all need creatives. Creativity is the #1 skill that international businesses are looking for. They need graphic designers for their website, illustrators for their logos, photographers, videographers, and animators for any kind of marketing that they may do. So really, the career field that is art and design is ever present. Whenever someone asks me to describe DCAD in one word, I always say without hesitation, family. What we really pride ourselves on at DCAD is that we get to know you. You're not just a student ID number. We get to know your work. We get to know what your schedule looks like. And that's important when you are trying to figure out if you need that class on a Friday afternoon. If you're having trouble with your financial aid, it's important to have someone that knows you. So DCAD is really a place for you to maximize your potential as an artist and designer and have the right support structures along the way.
Well, thank you so much, Randall, for starting us off on day 2 and for such an engaging presentation on DCAD. I know I learned a lot about your various programs, and I don't know if you noticed, but the whole time we were receiving lots of chatter in the Q&A. So a lot of follow-up questions to the information you shared, and I'd love to dive right in and wrap up our first session with some live Q&A.
Yes.
So Randall, the first question is, and you were actually just hitting on this with your last slide and kind of hitting on graphic design, but we have a student asking, what are a few in-demand jobs I might be eligible for with a DCAD degree?
Sure. So one thing to keep in mind, DCAD offers an Associates of Fine Arts degree. So if you were looking to get into photography, illustration, or design, that 2-year degree will be enough credential, enough power to get you really moving as an independent artist. If you are looking into animation, I would highly recommend that you get your 4-year degree just because the competition is very high. But with a DCAD degree, you could easily become a photographer, designer, or illustrator.
Okay. And that actually segues perfectly into our second question, which is, does DCAD help students with the transfer process? So if someone does get that associate's, is someone helping them along to that next step in their educational pathway?
Oh, absolutely. That's what DCAD was originally designed to do. Now our students have found their place in the career field, but our registrar, our deans, as well as student services will help expose you to other colleges that you could attend to, as well as help your credits transfer. Some colleges call Drawing One a different name, so we help that transition with you.
Great, great. That's good to know. Thank you for sharing that. So, Randall, what's the best part about a small college? I know you say about 200 students currently.
Mhm.
Fantastic.
So attending a small institution really affords you that one-on-one attention from your professors as well as from the staff. So they're going to get to know you and your work and kind of help you as you transition from being a high school artist to an emerging artist and designer.
It's a great response. Yeah, I won't put my college on blast, but I went to a major 4-year university, and I think my freshman biology class had 800 people in it. So I never met my teacher once. There is a lot of benefit to smaller classrooms and a smaller college experience. So Randall, our next question comes from Alexis. She asks, what's your favorite part about working at DCAD?
My favorite part about working at DCAD is seeing the development of each student's work. When you come in, you see some of the first assignments, and then as the weeks go on, you see their skills and their techniques are starting to develop and grow, and then you see that light bulb turn on. They finally get it. So that's seeing the development of our aspiring artists and designers is really the most heartwarming for me. It makes me love my job.
Great. Our next two questions are about art mediums. So the first is from Patrick, and he asks you, Randall, what is your favorite art medium?
Yes. So I got my degree in photography. Here's one of my self-portraits behind me. So I'd have to say, hands down, photography is one of my favorite mediums, one of my favorite tools to utilize. Let's face it, everyone has a camera in their pocket right now with your smart device. Our most popular major at DCAD would have to be animation, just because everyone wants to try and replicate what they're seeing in the world, which is super inspiring to see.
Well, that's perfect, because our next question was, what's the most popular art medium at DCAD? So is it animation then?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. So our final few questions, Chris asks, are students at DCAD going to class in person or virtually due to the pandemic?
Yeah. So this fall, we made the decision to go virtually. There were too many unknowns as we started the semester. And as you'll see, there were a couple of schools that had to walk back their decision to have on-campus classes. In the spring, we are going to have a hybrid delivery. So toward the end of the semester is when you would have your in-person classes, but we're going to start the semester virtually. We do not have a plan yet for fall. I mean, we can handle it both virtually or in person. We're just waiting for the federal and local guidelines to be released for how we can operate. But our plan for next fall is to be in person.
Okay, good deal. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, a few more questions popping in. This is fun. And keep it up, everyone. We do have really 7 minutes or so until we begin our next session. So keep engaging with us in the Q&A box. Our next question, Randall, is from a student asking, what major should I take if I want to become an interior designer?
Right, my boss would kill me. DCAD does not offer interior design. I would recommend that you look for college in Philadelphia, in Baltimore, in New York City. I know that Moore College of Art has a great interior design program, as well as Jefferson University. But unfortunately, DCAD does not offer that major. And if you are interested in becoming an interior designer, I would urge you to start at those schools. You could be a fine artist with us, but you're not going to get the right classes you need early enough in your college career.
Okay, great advice there. We have another student asking, are there any specific portfolio requirements such as prompts?
Really, we want to see your best work that you've created in the past 2 years. So it can be anything from drawings, paintings, photographs, designs, animations. We would request that if you are submitting any fan art, that you find a way to make it personal in your own style. We do have a recommendation of drawings from direct observation. So that's when you're looking at something in real life and translating it onto paper, but that is not required.
Okay. And we actually just had a follow-up question to that. Would you recommend working with a mentor to build your portfolio?
Absolutely. Look to your high school art educator, any other peers that are in the art world. On our Instagram at DCAD.edu, we have a section in our highlights called Tuesday Tips, which is all dedicated to advice on how to work on your portfolio. But the best thing to do is schedule a review. It's not a one and done experience here at DCAD. So if you want to share your work with us, we'll give you some honest critique. If it's acceptable for admission, we'll let you know. But if not, we'll give you some meaningful criticism to help guide your portfolio to where it needs to be.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. And our final question before we wrap up, Randall, is from Micah, and he asks, is it difficult to get into DCAD?
So the hardest part is pulling together all of the application requirements. Because we're an art and design college, we do require a portfolio review. The application itself has an essay. We want to know why you're passionate about art and design and how you think DCAD could help you get there. So it doesn't need to be a 3-page book report, but we do want to hear kind of where you're coming from, what your experience is like. So is it difficult to get in? Absolutely not. Our minimum GPA requirement is a 2.0, and we don't require the SATs or ACTs. So you'll never know unless you apply.
That's good to know. For anyone who didn't hear that, those standardized tests are not part of the requirements. Well, fantastic. Thank you so much, Randall, for answering all of those Q&As and for starting us off on day 2. Like I said, I've been so excited for your session. It was one of the most diverse ones we had as far as focus. And we're really appreciative that you joined us this morning and shared all this great information with our attendees.
It's my pleasure. For any seniors that are interested in applying, the application fee has been waived from now until the end of November, so you won't have to pay that. I'd say throw your hat in the ring, and I look forward to getting to know all of you and your work, and hope to see you on campus soon.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Randall.
Thank you. So long.